Now, let us continue analysis of and palm wine will flow. There is something that I notice among students. Some don't actually have the time to go through all this place, like flip through the pages, right to the end of it. And that is the reason why I put these videos up. It is not meant for students who attend regular classes. It is meant for those who can find time. So if you're attending regular classes, these videos are not for you, because I just mostly summarize this place. Now, the last time that we had a video on this, and palm wine will flow, I remember vividly that I didn't go through the play in its entirety. So today I want to look at the climax of the play. Now let us bear in mind that the form whose name is not given is the antagonist, and She Tanto is the protagonist. She's wife is Kwengong. Gwen is one of the watchdogs of the form. We have Fominiam and Fomilemi. Now these two men are henchmen of the form. Sometimes the fawn don't even have to give orders to his watchdogs to carry out the numerous sacrileges they have been doing against the villagers. These henchmen just taking upon themselves to go ahead and do it. So while She is in his shrine incantating, working closely hand in glove with the gods, the fawn on the other side abuses his powers and look down on She. He feels that She's words are empty threats, and his ego has been praised so much and encouraged by people like Fomilemi and Fominiam, as well as Kibania. Now, take note that Kibania is one of the notables who has been given a red feather for not doing anything for the community, and that explains why She had to make that offerance, that and palm wine will flow, a reflection of the fact that the king's rate has hit rock bottom. It has gone to a level where titles are given to men, not because of what they've done for the community or for the village, but because of the ability to bribe the form. So while She is in his shrine incantating, he sends a tapper to go bring him some palm wine, because remember that is a traditional play, and before incantations and libations are done, something has to be used, like we have to use kola nut or palm wine to placate the gods. So She dispatches the palm wine tapper to go to his bush, palm bush, and bring some palm wine with which She will offer a libation. But then he returns empty-handed, scratching and reeling from pains. And then he informed She that the watchdogs of the fawn had him well beaten. And he informed him that his palm wine bush now belongs to the fawn, and every other thing he owns has been seized by the fawn. And then shortly later, Kwengong and She's other wives, they come marching into She's shrine to tell She that their farms too have been confiscated by the fawn, because the fawn sees She as a threat to his authority, somebody who challenges him. So the fawn will have his revenge. But then She says that the fawn has no powers and authority, and he cannot match the strength of the gods, because they are going to fight for him. So he tells his wife Kwengong to get into the mask of the head goddess, while the tapper will get into the mask of Kibaranko. And so he dispatches the both of them. Now Kibaranko goes to the palace, scatters up everything, and all the notables and those who were drinking and getting drunk, they had to run for their lives. Oh yes, they ran for their lives. Now we observe that the messenger had to hid himself behind. He had to hid himself behind one of the tree trunks and then watch what happened to the fawn. And at that point, the fawn was helpless. He was helpless in the hands of Kibaranko, and it only took Fomilemi and Fominiam to pull him into one of the chambers of the court or the palace and locked it up. Thanks to them, he probably would have been killed. And then Kwengong informs She that when she left She's shrine, she went to the twin streams and met the elderly women. They had stripped themselves naked. I mean, like naked. Now these women will wash up their private parts, their genitals, pull up the water in a calabash, and as soon as Kwengong shows up, they hand it over to her and demands that she takes it to the palace and make the fawn drinks of it. Now when she goes over there and tells the fawn refuses. The fawn says, I will die first before I drink of it. She insists and the fawn refuses. And then while she begins to incantate, the fawn passes out, he faints. And so she breaks the calabash on top of the fawn's head and the fawn dies. And then at that point the women then appear, or rather the women make their entrance at the court. When she informs them, they ululate in satisfaction that the tyrant has been killed. Now with the tyrant taken away, Kwengong, now remember all of this is revealed by Kwengong to the husband Shea Bonyo, and Kwengong insists again. Now remember that she is the spokesperson of the head goddess, that they will not have a fawn again in the land. That Shea seated there would have to be the one to lead the notables or the council of elders in decision making at the level of the fictional village of Iwawa. Now she says that the day that Shea does something that is not expected of him, or the day that Shea breaks any of the norms, or he becomes oppressive like the late fawn, they would take him out and bring up someone else who can lead the council of elders. So it therefore tells us that Bole Butake is actually trying to capture the essence of oppressive leadership. And the chief happens to be an epitome of that oppressive leadership. Now remember that Shea once said that he rules without considering or without doing proper consultations with the council of elders. And so for that, he's power drunk. And he preoccupies himself with numerous feasts, drinking of palm wine, and they are always drunk. And Shea even points out that palm wine is the main cause of the problem of the village of Iwawa, because they are always drunk. And so for Shea to join the wife to institute some sense of democracy and order, it tells us that Bole Butake finally uses Shea Tanto as a sense of, as a voice of reason against the fawn's oppressive or heavy-handed methods in ruling the people. Take note, he hands over titles to men without proper consultations of the elders in council. 2. The fawn also take lands from those he sees as threats or opponents. Those who question his ways, he sees their lands. 2 of such victims is the Tapa whose palm wine bush was taken over by the watchdogs of the fawn, and Shea himself, whose wife's farms have also been taken away from him and handed over to Kibania. Now the fawn again is power drunk. Now a reflection of that is the excessive consumption of palm wine and the numerous parties he throws. He gives the villagers very, very little reason to actually see him as a leader who does things with consideration. With all this, it is clear that Bole Butakes and palm wine will flow. It's a reflection of this oppressive leadership that we see in post-colonial African countries, especially our very own Cameroon. Therefore, Bole Butake, besides being a traditionalist, he's also a political commentator, because we can externalize the entire polemics of past struggle in the fictional village of Iwawa to reflect the present-day Cameroonian situation. It therefore means that we have a clique of political leaders who do not really consider what has to be considered before titles and positions are granted. All it takes is friendship and bribe, and you get whatever it is that you want. Now we also note humor and pathos. Now we earlier said that humor are instances that generate laughter, instances that thrills the audiences, while pathos are those that generate sympathy and sadness in hearts and minds of the audience or those watching such performance, which we earlier looked in the videos that we did before. We have also studied and power flow as popular theater to see those hallmarks that marks it as popular theater. So in our very next video, we are going to be looking at aspects of tradition in Bole Butakes and power flow. We are going to look at aspects of tradition and also look at the role of the women, because the women play a very central role in the play. It will not be too much for the examiner to demand that candidates discuss the role played by women. Without them, the fun will not have been taken out, so their role is extremely very instrumental. Now, given that it's a play meant for stage performers, we should also bother much to look at elements of stagecraft and the play, the demerits and merits of the play as a stage-worthy play. We have also seen that. We should also be able to look at the costume, but then that has to do much more with creativity. Kansas' ability to create how the audiences may have appeared on stage, which is extremely very important. So look all of that. But then if you learn anything in the video, do hit the subscribe button, and then you share the video as much as possible. So I'll see you in the next video.